The next presenter brings us peace. It is Mr. Peace, and that's what I was told to just say. Mr. Peace is here. So we'll go with that. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me without the microphone, or are you using the microphone?
Microphone's better, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I usually like to have a wireless one to walk around, but that's okay. No, that's fine. I'll be okay, guys. Man, my heart's just moved here tonight. I haven't seen Joe in like half a year, so just seeing you in the physical form, and not just on Facebook, it's good to see you here tonight. And Carmel, you kept reminding us of your sickness, and I mean, your voice was just angelic. It was a true gift tonight.
Thank you.
So I mean, with anything in our lives, we have the effort, God's got the outcome. And so I was healed by several of your songs tonight that really touched a part of my heart. With my personal situation with my parents and ongoing struggles with them. So I really appreciate that. And Tim, that was really amazing, man. I appreciate that. That was hardcore, right to the bone. I deal with a lot of youth myself. I'm a motivational speaker. I speak all over the state of Michigan, grades K through 12, alternative schools, suburban schools, Detroit public schools, and hear a lot of similar stories. And my heart bleeds for them, and I'm trying to just be, one person that I don't try to pretend that I know what goes on behind closed doors, because I don't, but someone that, shares a piece of my heart with the hope that maybe I'll touch a small piece of theirs, right? What I was feeling when I drove over here is that I'm tired. I haven't gotten any sleep in the last 40 hours. I actually had an all-night retreat with my youth group over at St. John Newman in Canton. And I had to go straight to a training in Brighton for this Rich and Higher course that I'm going to be instructing in the fall. So I'm just kind of on fumes right now, but I really wanted to be here for Nancy to really just kind of share with you guys a couple thoughts that I had. But one thing that kept just ringing true to me is that the people in this room, we're so passionate and alive, whether it's music or writing or whatever the art that we do, right? And we're so on fire for something in our life, and we have this purpose in our life, and we have these goals and these dreams and this fire in our belly. And so many people don't have that. And I always ask my youth, and I ask people of any age, just to tell me, how many people do you know that are, truly happy, 100% alive, fulfilled, and doing what they love, right? And most people can tell you, maybe on one hand, how many people in their life that they know who fit that description. But they know hundreds of people. They know thousands of people. And so the percentage is low, right? And the odds aren't the best. And I think to myself, I know hundreds of people like that. And I'm so blessed to be in such a great network of people around me. But the passion that I have and so many of us have is to heal hearts, right? And when it comes to peace, what we've always talked about when we were helping to move peace throughout Michigan in 2011, and outside of Ann Arbor Art Fair, it's like 110 degrees with the heat index, and sweating like crazy and just dehydrated. And the thing that kept coming back to me, and the reason I kept doing it, is because everybody I talked to, I said, why are you out here volunteering your time and sweating and doing all this stuff? And because of the impact that peace has had on their heart, because they were able to forgive somebody in their life, and they saw the power in that. And so it's like they have to give that peace back to somebody else. And so, this inner peace that we have, it's like despite all the chaos and noise and trouble and violence going on around us, just plaguing us around us, that we still have this inner calm, this inner sense of tranquility. I really, really seek to get a true message of peace and love and compassion to all the youth that I interact with. I had a 5th grader that came up to me after one of my talks, and she told me, she said, "Hey, Mr. Peace." I said, "Yeah, what's going on?" She said, "I have a friend, and she just moved here earlier this year, and she's in a wheelchair for life. She's in there permanently. And the first day that she got here, she transferred from another school. I went up to her, I said, "Do you want to be my friend?" And And she said, yeah. And they've been friends ever since. And this girl, her name was Cheyenne, she includes this other person, right, in this wheelchair. Not because she feels sorry for her, not because she feels pity for her, but because she wants to welcome her into this world and just give her an ounce of what so many of us have, with that normalcy. And to just, feel that type of true welcome. And she told me this fifth grader, this wisdom was amazing. She said, Mr. Peace, when I see her, I see this first and not this. And she points to the wheelchair. I see this first, the heart, right? And I think to this little third grader named Dominic, and after my talk, he said, hey, Mr. Peace, do you want to know what my most painful memory was? I said, yeah, go ahead, tell me. He said, it was 2 years ago when I was in first grade, and I had my heart crushed by this girl. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, they're already starting to date in like first grade, and she probably broke up with him, and was it Facebook official? All these things are going through my mind. But anyways, he said, I was on a bus, and this fifth grader turned around to me day after day and said that you're never going to have any friends. You're never going to have any friends. But he said, but you know what, Mr. Peace? And I said, what? He said, now I have best friends. Now I have best friends. And so I think, that my job and my mission, I have these hands, these wooden hands that I see every day before I leave my house. And my friend gave it to me, who was suicidal about 2 Christmases ago. He lost his job, a close family member to death, and his girlfriend broke up with him all within a week's time. And he was really thinking about checking out. And I encouraged him, I supported him, and he said I was like his helping hands during one of life's greatest needs. And so that's what I encourage all my youth to do, is that every day I just look to be one person's helping hands and just give something back, right? And do it because it's the right thing to do, and you do it because the need is so great. And we keep seeing this in the news every day, and just more and more suicides, 6, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds taking their life. My newspaper clippings keep getting thicker and thicker, and it just breaks my heart. That's why I lose sleep at night. That's why, I'm so on fire and so passionate about all these things, right? Because I know how important it is. Tim, probably said it 20 times better than how I'm saying it right now, but this story, whether you heard it or not, it's always good to hear it. And I'm going to close with this, because this is the true sense of healing and what it means that we have to understand our power. And we have to know that our fight for peace and justice and all these great initiatives and causes is so vital, because of the fact that something we do and say or whatever it is could save a life. And we never know when that smile, or just, picking the books up for somebody that dropped them, or whatever the example is what truly saves somebody's life. This is the Teddy Stollard story. Teddy Stollard certainly qualified as one of the least. Disinterested in school, wearing musty, wrinkled clothes, hair never combed, one of those kids in school with a deadpan face, an expressionless, glassy, unfocused stare. When Miss Thompson spoke to Teddy, he always answered in monosyllables. Unattractive, unmotivated, and distant, he was just plain hard to like. Even though his teacher said she loved all in her class the same, down inside, she wasn't being completely truthful. Whenever she marked Teddy's paper, she got a certain perverse pleasure out of putting X's next to the wrong answers. And when she put the F's at the top of the papers, she always did it with a flair. She should have known better. She had Teddy's records, and she knew more about him than she wanted to admit, but she continued to do it. The records stated, first grade, Teddy shows promise with his work and attitude, but poor home situation. Second grade, Teddy could do better. Mother is seriously ill. He receives little help at home. Third grade, Teddy is a good boy, but too serious. He is a slow learner. His mother died this year. Fourth grade, Teddy is very slow but well behaved. His father shows no interest. Christmas came. The boys and girls in Miss Thompson's class brought her Christmas presents. They piled their presents on her desk and crowded around to watch her open them. Among the presents, there was one from Teddy Stollard. She was surprised that he had brought her a gift, but he had, and Teddy's gift was wrapped in a brown paper bag and was held together with one piece of Scotch tape. On the paper were written the simple words, for Miss Thompson, from Teddy. When she opened Teddy's present, out fell a gaudy rhinestone bracelet with half the stones missing. and a bottle of cheap perfume. The other boys and girls began to laugh, giggle, and smirk over Teddy's gifts, but Miss Thompson at least had enough sense to silence them by immediately putting on the bracelet and putting some of the perfume on her wrist. Holding her wrist up for the other children to smell, she said, "Doesn't it smell lovely?" And the children, taking their cues from the teacher, readily agreed with oohs and ahs. At the end of the day, when school was over and the other children had left, Teddy stayed behind. He slowly came over to her desk and said softly, Miss Thompson, you smell just like my mother. And her bracelet looks real pretty on you, too. I'm glad you like my presence." When Teddy left, Miss Thompson got down on her knees and asked God to forgive her. The next day, when the children came to school, they were welcomed by a new teacher. Miss Thompson had become a different person. She was no longer just a teacher. She had become an agent of God. She was now a person committed to loving her children and doing things for them that would live on after her. She helped all the children, but especially the slow ones, and especially Teddy Stoller. By the end of that school year, Teddy showed dramatic improvement. He had caught up with most of the students and was even ahead of some. She didn't hear from Teddy for a long time, and then one day she received a note that read, "Dear Miss Thompson, I wanted you to be the first to know I will be graduating second in my class. Love, Teddy." 4 years later, another note came, "Dear Miss Thompson, they just told me I will be graduating first in my class. I wanted you to be the first to know. The university has not been easy, but I liked it. Love, Teddy." And 4 years later, "Dear Miss Thompson, as of today, I am Theodore Stollard, MD. How about that? I wanted you to be the first to know. I'm getting married next month, the 27th to be exact. I want you to come and sit where my mother would sit if she were alive. You are the only family I have now. Dad died last year. Love, Teddy." Miss Thompson went to that wedding and sat where Teddy's mother would have sat. She deserved to sit there. She had done something for Teddy that he could never forget. And I always, at the end of my talks, a lot of times I tell people to just close their eyes and point to themselves. And nine times out of 10, you point right here, your heart. And sometimes that's the only thing that people remember you for or want to remember you for is your heart. So we think about the legacy that we're trying to leave, and I think about some wonderful agents of peace and of change and of love that are sitting in this audience that I've had the pleasure to work with, and just, this younger generation fuel my fire for what I do and my drive. And I hope that, some of us continue to do that for you. So thank you so much, guys. God bless. Peace in. I have to leave because I need to get sleep. But I'm going to leave some cards, so if you guys do want to connect, please feel free to reach out. I'll leave with Nancy. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.